What happens when Hollywood's most outspoken host crosses the line with one of Boston's toughest actors? You won't believe what unfolds when Mark Wahlberg sits down with Jimmy Kimmel, and the conversation takes a shocking turn that leaves everyone in the studio speechless. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because you're not going to believe what unfolds. Last night's episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live started like any other, but within minutes, the atmosphere in the studio turned ice cold. Mark Wahlberg, known for his no-nonsense attitude and fierce loyalty to his hometown of Boston, walked onto the set expecting a standard promotional appearance for his latest film. What he got instead was an ambush that would end with him storming off the set in front of a live studio audience. The tension began brewing almost immediately after Wahlberg took his seat. Kimmel, wearing his trademark smirk, wasted no time diving into controversial territory. "So Mark, you've been pretty vocal about your Catholic faith and your past mistakes," Kimmel began, his tone already carrying an edge. "But some people are saying your whole redemption story is just good PR. What do you say to critics who think you're just playing a character?" Wahlberg's jaw visibly tightened as he leaned forward in his chair. "Jimmy, I've been honest about my past from day one. I've done the work, I've made amends, and I've tried to be a better person every single day since then." His Boston accent became more pronounced as his voice grew firmer. "That's not PR. That's my life." But Kimmel wasn't backing down. Instead, he doubled down with a mocking laugh that echoed through the studio. "Come on, Mark. You were in a gang. You committed hate crimes. And now you're this squeaky clean family man? It's a little convenient, don't you think?" The host's words hung in the air like a challenge, and the audience fell uncomfortably silent. The color drained from Wahlberg's face as he processed what had just been said. His hands gripped the armrests of his chair, knuckles turning white. "Excuse me?" he said slowly, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "Did you just mock my journey of redemption? Did you just make light of the pain I've caused and the work I've done to make things right?" Sensing he had struck a nerve, Kimmel pressed on relentlessly. "Look, I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You beat up innocent people, you served time, and now you want us all to forget about it because you go to church and make movies about patriotism? That's not how it works, Mark." The host's tone was condescending, almost taunting, as if he was enjoying watching Wahlberg squirm. What happened next sent shockwaves through the studio. Wahlberg shot up from his chair so fast it nearly toppled over, his finger pointing directly at Kimmel's face. "You have no idea what you're talking about," he snarled, his voice echoing through the stunned silence. "I've spent decades trying to make amends for my mistakes. I've reached out to victims. I've donated millions to youth programs. I've used my platform to help kids avoid the path I went down." The studio audience was frozen, some covering their mouths in shock as they witnessed the confrontation unfolding before their eyes. Cameras continued rolling as Wahlberg's voice grew louder and more intense. "You sit here in your little bubble, making jokes about things you've never experienced, never understood. You've never had to look someone in the eye and apologize for the worst thing you've ever done." Kimmel, clearly rattled but trying to maintain his composure, attempted to regain control of the situation. Hey, calm down there, Mark. This is just television. We're just having a conversation here." But his nervous laughter only seemed to fuel Wahlberg's anger further. "Just television?" Wahlberg's voice cracked with emotion as he took a step closer to the desk. "You just trivialized my entire journey. My faith, my family, everything I've worked for, and you call it just television? You crossed a line tonight, Jimmy, and you know it." The tension in the room was suffocating as Wahlberg stood there, breathing heavily, staring down at Kimmel, who had visibly shrunk in his chair. Security personnel could be seen moving closer to the stage area, though they maintained their distance as the confrontation continued to escalate. "I've been coming on talk shows for 25 years, Wahlberg continued, his voice shaking with barely contained rage. I've talked about my past honestly. I've answered every difficult question. I've never run from my mistakes. But I won't sit here and let you mock my faith and my efforts to be better. Kimmel, now clearly in over his head, made one final attempt to salvage the situation. Look, Mark, maybe we got off on the wrong foot here. Why don't we just... No! Wahlberg cut him off sharply, his voice echoing through the studio. We're done here. I'm not going to be part of your cheap entertainment at the expense of real pain and real growth. He ripped off his microphone and threw it onto the guest chair, the sound reverberating through the speakers. Without another word, Mark Wahlberg turned his back on Jimmy Kimmel and walked straight toward the exit, his footsteps the only sound in the completely silent studio. The audience sat in stunned disbelief as they watched one of Hollywood's biggest stars storm off the set of one of television's most popular talk shows. As Wahlberg disappeared through the curtain, the cameras captured Kimmel sitting alone at his desk, his usual confidence completely shattered, leaving viewers at home and the studio audience to process what they had just witnessed